Hello, and welcome to yet another cast, and I almost forgot to switch scenes again. But yes, welcome to another cast. Today for you I have another Mapgen, another Team Matchmaker Mapgen, or 3v3. So of course it's Mapgen, because 3v3 is always Mapgen. But yeah, let's get this started. By the looks of it, I think that's the 15k map. And we have Team 1 up here in the top, Team 2 down here in the bottom. And let's start with Team 1. Right here in the westernmost position, in red. Going Cypher and opening first land, we have infraction ratio. Then to the east of that, in burgundy red, also Cypher, opening first land as well. We have Martin, or something like that. I'm gonna call it Martin, because I don't know how to pronounce this otherwise. If you want your name to be pronounced correctly, don't have exotic names. That easy. And to the east of that, in orange, going UEF, opening first land, we have Sele Vollerei. That's Team 1, let's get to Team 2. Down here in the bottom at the easternmost position we have Alexander Berlin. They have been featured quite a few times now. In blue, going Seraphim, opening first land. Also second air queued up. Then to the west of that we have, in dark blue, Milf Hunter, opening first land, going Aeon, not Cybran. And to the east of that, not to the east of that, to the west of that. One day I may actually get my directions correctly. In purple, going Seraphim, opening first land, we have Jackhammer 2K. Right, that's plan introductions out of the way. Not a lot of reclaim, it's spread in a few clumps around the cliffs. And obviously the game is quite well balanced as it is on Matchmaker. Matchmaker always getting some pretty good balances down. And since the game also just started, ecos are pretty even. So some maybe special things about this map. We have these pawns right here at the sides that would probably allow some naval play to harass the middle, or if the middle gets secured, to harass also the ability to build navy here and harass the side players right here. Or right here respectively. With the northern team having the advantage of being Cypher and thus being able to, and with Cypher and Destroyers being able to walk up here and have some pretty long-range flanking fire with those Cypher and Destroyers. Other than that, cruisers maybe out from Salafalarai could do some devastating damage as well. That could work. And the southern team, of course, having Seraphim, could also get cruisers in here and start using those for that, for the same purposes. Yeah, transport already out from Jackhammer, grabbing these islands, or not islands, these plateaus, in order to secure the Maxis right here, though this does look like it's pathable. It most certainly is pathable. And yeah, the engineer of Alexander Berlin already pathed up there. With the drop also having already been put down here for Alexander Berlin to get this plateau. Since this is certainly not pathable. Yeah, there's no way to path up there. I think this, yeah, this is also definitely pathable, yes. Transports, of course, allowing much faster, getting stuff up there much faster. But Jackhammer already having one factory up, currently working on a second. One factory is idle, they should probably try and get some spam out of there. and start taking over the plateau from that. Milf Hunter also, with a transport, managed to grab the plateau right here on the back. So most of the plateaus currently either contested or under control of the southern team. While in the short term that won't affect the game too much, long term that will be massive eco advantages for the southern team, as well as the ability to put like T2RT or tactical missile launchers right here on the back, which would definitely deal, be able to deal heavy damage. Saying that, there's also been a transport that landed right here. There were also engineers dropped up from info-action ratio that are currently working on PD, and it was only a single engineer that was able to make it up here, which is now just building the factory very slowly. Info-action ratio, on the other hand, with all these engineers, is able to get that up quite quickly, already with a lab queued that will probably be enough to take out this NG. But the factory has finished, and if some RT comes out from that, that would be able to take out the PD, or some Auroras would obviously also be able to take out the labs that are being thrown up, but the factory is still idle. This factory is no longer idle, now producing spam to contest this plateau and actually pushing it. Also, with this side actually being under control of the southern team, they could already put Navy in here. Of course, not much of a point since that would currently still be T1 Navy. And I don't think they have the eco for T2 Navy quite yet. Let's take a look. Yeah, Jackhammer is sitting at 63, that's not quite enough for T2 Navy. You want to be sitting at something like 100 mass income before going T2 Navy. Though, if they just get a few cruisers out, that could still work out. And would obviously do heavy damage on this area. Just saying that there is not much damage to be done with most of this still being T1. Info-action ratio in the meantime, just diverting their forces up onto this plateau and taking out the contesting forces. Even moving the ACU up. A gun upgrade has been finished for Martin. No gun upgrade for the southern team yet. But this is quite a heavy investment up here that is not going to support the push down here in the south. Though that push there is not much to contest it, but as I almost suspected, there is actually T2 land production already out, just to defend against with T2 PD already going up, and also T2 spam, of course, being able to just counter T1 spam easily. That T2 will certainly be very helpful. In the meantime, the ACUs of Silver Rai and Martin just keep pushing. Under hostile air though. Something to keep in mind. Saying that, there's no play for any upgraded air tech quite yet. Never mind, there is T2 air going up for Alexander Berlin. There's no continued airplays for Milf Hunter. T2 air has already been achieved by Silver Rai. And they are the only one currently. Right, there is an air factory out for info-action ratio, though that is still at T1. With some drops prepared. Right, I think they will try to retake this plateau up here. Reasonable, since that is quite a bit of mass that is in the hand of the opposing team that he would like to have, but simply the fact that it has been alive for this long is going to be very annoying. and the amount of mantas in this aren't actually that great, so they may actually be able to keep the island contested. Or the Thunder will be able to keep the island contested, which would be unfortunate for the northern team. Interestingly enough, this plateau has not been claimed yet. Right, the Sun Engineers just dropped that. But there are some Stingers now out that are now attacking the base for Alexander Berlin. Though the NTs from the southern team are sufficient to kill that. I was saying that there were some engineers dropped as well. Right, Stingers have the capability of transporting, and those engineers, those Sparkies actually, are now building up some plasma cannons. Some T1 PD. It's very unusual to see Sparkies being used in such a way. It's also very rare that you see the transport capabilities of the Stinger being used. And massive drop now also coming into the base of MILF Hunter. That's not looking good for the southern team. Alexander Berlin basically losing their entire base now. Getting up a Utah T2 point defense. But that will only be of limited effectiveness. And the focus, and being forced to focus on this stuff now, means that MILF Hunter won't be able to actually do stuff up here. Saying that there have also been multiple factories thrown up by infraction ratio that are going to produce spam now to just take the space out. And with that, this the contested plateaus will no longer be contested. Another drop on this plateau that may actually be able to take out the presence of Jackhammer here. If these engineers are not taken out, they will be able to get up a factory very soon, and that would allow them to get a proper foothold. Saying that, there is quite a few T1 factories right here currently just producing Suis that could just walk right through here and take out the main base of infraction ratio. And the drops out from Cellular have done a significant amount of damage right here on the southern team space. These drops, Jackhammer already throwing out the GG. You might say it's quite early, but I think that is probably a reasonable call to make at this point. Though they haven't decided to control K yet. How courteous. In the meantime, Martin is getting Nano on their ACU. So is Alexander Berlin, though that upgrade is currently paused. Possibly due to the enormous amounts of eco damage that were done on that base. But that ACU does have T2 and gun. MILF Hunter having normal range and the speed upgrade on the ACU as well. Allowing to defend against quite a lot of stuff. The defenses right here, however, that are intended to hold this position back are now under threat from mobile missile launchers out from Martin. Northern team now producing T2 land. T2 land has been achieved by both infraction ratio and Martin. And there's actually T3 air now out for Cellular. That will be quite dangerous. In the meantime, no current play for T3 air out from Alexander Berlin. T3 air currently still underway for Jackhammer. And still quite a bit off. What else? How's land? I should probably look at land tech. Currently no T2 land production, I think, with the exception of MILF Hunter for the southern team. Yep. So the situation is looking quite bad, and Martin is now also able to just run by on the flank right here. Milfant are using their ACU to try and defend against that, but against this amount of spam, that is only of limited effectiveness. And that will get into the base of Alexander Berlin, making it a lot harder for them to keep this up. In the meantime, another drop happened up here in the north, though that is being taken out by the spam up here. And the Suis that were being that Jackhammer tried to get over here have now just been countered by the main land force of Info Action Ratio, as well as some Zobras that are now being thrown up, and some gunships. The gunships are also moving onto this position, most likely taking out the factories very soon, and thus ending the attempted production up here. And right, currently the engineers being taken out. A reasonable call, as the engineers are what is going to pose the biggest threat to this, to these Stingers. And he's coming in to try and defend, but ASF just making short work of those. T3R has now been achieved by Jackhammer, but they will still require to build that T3P jet, and that will take a moment. No, that is already under construction, but just started. And a res upgrade for North Hunter. Interesting call. And surprisingly, they... Right, that was reclaimed that they could afford it for a moment, but it is actually still going rather fast. Surprisingly. I mean, it is a reasonable decision considering the fact that they may have issues keeping their base for longer, for extended periods of time. Though it still feels weird to get the gun upgrades in conjunction with the res upgrade on your ACU. Something that I apparently missed is that Milfhunter got T3 land production now. Must have been up here, yep. And also have a Serenity now, all by T3 RT. Also the fact that it's Aeon will mean that this RT is going to be able to fire while moving, as can be seen, with the first shot being fired while the RT was still moving. And that will do some damage. Right, I forgot the lingering damage effects of Aeon RT. That will probably be a bit annoying, as units that may not seem like they die immediately will die shortly after, just due to Aeon RT in general just having lingering damage over time, as well as the alpha. And the gunships continuing to make progress up here. Funny enough, not actually finishing off this one factory, leaving it at 120 HP, which technically will allow more engineers to come out of there and rebuild all of this. Though I don't think they will make the investment. Milfhunter are also getting ARAS. That's gonna be a lot faster now that they have RAS, and both upgrades have the same cost if I remember correctly. Of course, ARAS still requiring normal RAS, making it more expensive in total to get ARAS than just normal RAS, but you also get more mass income from that. The whole 37 mass income. Let's take a look at ecos. The southern team, surprisingly, considering the map control, is actually on eco. But map control does not win you. But eco does not win you games. Well, it contributes to winning games, but it's not looking good. There have been multiple drops on these plateaus now from the northern team, getting up factories that start producing spam now, which are putting some immediate threats, which are immediately threatening for the southern team's positions. And the gunships also being able to do heavy damage. Engineers being able to claim these maxes down here. It's not looking good. I'm almost surprised, however, that I did not see any Navy. Since I still believe that Navy could have done some serious damage. Major land push now coming right here through the middle. Mostly T1 though, so it's not too much of an issue right now. Jackhammer just desperately throwing up T1 PD. A very good call, as T1 PD is cheaper than T2 PD and has higher DPS. And if your opponent is just pushing through anyways, might as well go for the cheaper option with higher DPS. As you won't need that higher range. But it manages to completely push through. Xenoblin actually finished the nano upgrade. And is now... And the ACUs in general managed to take out a lot of that push, but not all of it, and now the rest is getting through. Also, there was an attempted drop of RT on the Continental passing through at the same time. Maybe counting on the southern team being distracted. However, that was actually noticed and picked up, and thus not actually successful. In the meantime, Milf Hunter is actually looking rather... isn't not actually looking too hot right now. They are taking fire from quite a few hoplites. Interesting that Martin is going for hoplites. Hoplites, of course, being having the comparatively slow missiles that are relatively easy to dodge, but also the high range, and having 5 feet. The walking animation of the hoplite is very janky, but it somehow works. Another Continental coming in full of T1 RT, trying to drop another area. This time coming in from the side. And also getting proper ISF coverage. There's no AA in this area, so this will probably land. Yes, it's getting through. And... go on. And it landed, all the RTs dropped, and those will be doing heavy damage to the economy. Getting multiple T2 maxes. That will be very painful. I think with that the Southern team will not be able to keep an AQ advantage. No, they won't. Northern team now is actually ahead on mass income. Though they are still behind on total mass produced. Total mass produced is not as important as just general mass income. Since the mass income determines how much you can produce at any given moment, while total mass produced just tells you how much you could have produced over the duration of the entire game. Milf Hunter disconnecting, since they did die, but the ACU survived for quite a bit. This is a pretty obvious sign for disconnect. Martin in the meantime actually getting cloak. Interesting. And infection ratio getting nano in the meantime. Not wishing to be sniped, I suppose. You don't really see cloak that often, even though it is a very, very powerful upgrade, since that means that anyone without anything that is not under the coverage of Omni will you will be completely invisible as long as you don't fight under Omni coverage. That's what I meant to say. Completely messed up my grammar in that sentence, but whatever. I think that's just normal now. I think that's just normal for me. On that note, is there any Omni? Because that obviously becomes very important. Whether or not there is Omni when there are actually And there is a T3, not T3, a cloak commander coming up. That doesn't look like Omni. There's obviously T3 Air, which does have scouts that do get Omni, but it's still not the same as just having an Omni, since the range is very limited on that. Upgrade progressing quite nicely for Morton. And is there any more T3 air production now out for the northern team? There is for info action ratio. I noticed some T3 out from Alexander Berlin. Yes, here it is. So both players on the southern team currently having T3 air, and 2 of the 3 players on the northern team have T3 air. That is basically that is going to put a equal amount of air players on both teams, which still means that they are going to be pretty even. Except that they won't be even because the northern team now has a over 200 mass advantage. This game does not look good for the southern team. They will have to pull out some surprise shenanigans to actually win this, I think. Alexander Berlin getting T3 on that ACU now. In the meantime, Cloak finished for Martin. And they are getting quite a few E-storages now. Possibly to ensure that that thing that actually stays active. As much long as possible. Right, also maybe just to afford laser, because laser does take a lot of power. Wrong player. Yeah, they are stalling quite a bit now. But also with this amount of E-storages, they will have a... They will probably be able to do maximum overcharge damage. They will have the... expect that they will have the necessary capacity for that, and that will be very, very scary. Now, talking about scary stuff, there is a T2 engineer up here in the north. Well, not up here in the north, up here on this plateau. That has started building some gunfers. While those who didn't finish, that will, if it is allowed to finish, be a massive pain in the ass for the southern team. Though the Cerberus has a serious disagreement with the glyph, the NG died, and thus this plan has been denied by Jackhammer. Now, in the meantime, something else important to point out. A very large amount of Vipers now out for Martin as well, firing upon the space. There is now, however, quite a bit of tactical missile defense. I'd say it's probably not enough to deal with the Cyprian missiles though, as you need multiple to really effectively deal with one Viper. And there are still more Vipers than missile defenses. Vipers are a real pain to counter, so, well, that will be annoying. Now in the meantime, Martin has actually gotten a strategy that I think I've heard referred to as a cloak monkey before, since you get the laser and cloak. Basically it's just cloak laser, but yeah, that commander is gonna be very deadly. Also, cloak increasing the HP pool further gives it a HP pool of 30,000 with 90 HP a second regen. So that is also very hard to kill. Almost on par with the advanced Nano Seraphim commander. With the HP pool wise. Of course not on the regen. Though with some levels of veterancy that may actually also get reach the Seraphim levels of regen on that. Now that's a T3 Ghetto gunship. You don't see that very often. What we have here is a Continental completely filled up with Mech Marines, thus having some incredible DPS because Continentals have a have a lot of seats, and can fit a lot of magmates due to that. However, just got shot down. But still, very interesting strategy. You don't see that very often. It is very effective, of course, if you can pull it off properly, since these magmarines will be able to fire out of the transport. There's gonna be a shit ton of magmarines, and magmarines have pretty good DPS. Cloaking now also going up for infraction ratio, not wishing to be sniped, I suppose. And some hardy has been thrown up on this cliff, on this cliff edge, on this plateau, to take out any attempted plays up here on this plateau, on the opposing plateau. And that seems to work out for them. How's Eco looking now? We are now almost at a 300 mass, getting close to over 300 mass actually, getting close to a 400 mass advantage for the for Team 1. So the southern team really needs to pull something out of their hat if they don't want to lose this. They are now retaking these maxes, actually rebuilding them at T3. This is of course quite expensive, but it will at least give a lot of eco once it finishes. A lot of eco at once at least. And right here we have a brick having a massive disagreement with this cliff edge, with the mountain. Just firing into this cliff again and again. Not, trying to hit these P-gens, but not being able to make the... but the P-gens being way too high, and thus the brick being unable to hit. Now that's an interesting move up here. We have a stealthy generator with a bunch of tactical missile launchers now being thrown up here. Those will have quite a decent range. Being able to hit all of this, I think, since the ACUs are here if I remember correctly, that would be able to do quite a bit of damage. But that will probably more likely go after some maxes, doing quite a bit of damage with that. The RT right here continuing to do some damage. With it being Gunthers though, it's obviously not gonna be very accurate, just shattering everything but the thing it's targeting. But that's just what you get with Gunthers. There's an SMD out for Jackhammer. Is there a nuke? Yes, there is actually a nuke out for Celiflori. So fair enough. I was about to say that that's probably not a good call, but I was mistaken. And these missiles taking out the T3 P-gens, and I'm about to take out the T3 AHQ for Alexander Berlin. There goes the T3 AHQ. So with that, they are no longer able to build any air, as that were all air factories they had. That's not looking too great now. The situation keeps worsening. And the brick is still here, keeping firing. Keeping me distracted by having the constant firing sound. I'm almost disappointed that Martin didn't actually use the ACU, their laser ACU. Getting the upgrades but not actually using them. Now, here's something I would have almost missed. There is a chicken going up for Alexander Berlin, and... is there a monkey or something like that going up here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, no. So that may actually work out at getting back into this game. Pushing up with the chicken. Saying that, there are a bunch of trebuchets now also set up on this cliff side, firing down here. And they may have just scouted the Yothotha, or the chicken, under construction. And with that, the one thing that the Southern team was trying to do to get back into this. Northern team being still being very passive right now. To be fair, they do have a nuke and a advantage on eco and map control, so they in the long term they can probably get this. Nuke out from the nuke launcher up here by Silver, right? I pointed out before. It is going after space, however the SMD right here is loaded. So that will not actually get through. Funny enough, there is now a counter missile launcher out from Alexander Berlin taking out which took out the missile launchers up here. And it's now also going after the Struggle Chase. Right, that are trying to hit the Harbinger that's moving in. Which is probably just gonna go down to Sparkies now. Because Sparkies just have a hell of bunch of DPS with the Gatling guns. At larger, if you get larger counts of them. Right, it also made me just realize with that nuke, there's no SMD up here. They don't have an SMD up front. They could, so that game could have been ended if they had been aware of that. The chicken just finished, and it started moving up here, but then they noticed the posies up here. These being very dangerous, so if they get run by, they would probably be able to kill the space. So the chicken instead moving to the side here with the intention of taking that out. Right, with the threat of the nuke, there is now an SMD under construction on the middle as well. Fair enough. It's probably a very good call right now. But the second nuke is already loaded, and it's not going for the middle. It's still going for that base. That SMD is not loaded again, so it will probably get through. Alexander Berlin asking for them to nuke the front base. Self-Array is saying that they want just massive kills. Alexander Berlin just wanting it to end, pointing out that there are 2 ACUs in the front. And apparently I missed that there was an experimental construction mode Northern team, Monkey Lord. But with that landing, the Southern team recalls from the battle. And that's game. Right, I hope you enjoyed this cast. I'm gonna be putting up another cast on... This one should probably be going up on Friday. So there's gonna be another one on Sunday as per usual. This was streamed live. My YouTube still doesn't allow me to put links into the description, so I don't know. Let's see when that's gonna be a thing. You'll probably see it with links being in the description instead of my current placeholder, just pointing out that YouTube doesn't allow me to do that. But yeah, if you want to find my Twitch, it is on my channel page, on the channel description. And yeah, there are gonna be more casts out. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm gonna be back with future casts. Maybe we're gonna see. And yeah, I hope to see you again, maybe in a cast, maybe on Twitch. Let's see. Anyways, till then, bye!